President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof discusses regional and international issues with a focus on the Middle East. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli participates in the Future Investment Initiative conference in Riyadh on behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. And Egypt condemns the Israeli Knesset's approval of legislation banning the operations of UNRWA. You're now watching the latest updates in Egypt on Qnews. Moving on to the latest developments. Welcome back, and we start off with the phone call where President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof have discussed regional and international issues with particular focus on developments in the Middle East. The phone call touched on ways to enhance bilateral relations, especially at the economic level in the fields of agriculture, water management, industry and cooperation in green hydrogen production. President el-Sisi reiterated Egypt's persistent efforts to promote de-escalation and an immediate ceasefire in the Palestinian territories and Lebanon. President el-Sisi also emphasized the importance of intensifying international efforts, especially by influential European powers, to halt the current escalation and engage in the two-state solution process. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has participated in the Future Investment Initiative conference in Riyadh on behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Prime Minister Madbouli is accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, Badr Abdelati. They will take part in the 8th edition of the conference that begins today under the theme Endless Horizon, Investing Today to Shape Tomorrow. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati has highlighted the key efforts undertaken by Egypt to intensify the entry of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, emphasizing the need to enable all UN agencies to fulfill their relevant responsibilities. Minister Abdelati and UN Deputy Special Coordinator Mohanna Hadi discussed the latest developments of the ongoing Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip. The Egyptian Foreign Minister affirmed Cairo's support for the UN humanitarian coordinator's efforts. Minister Abdelati also stressed Egypt's condemnation of Israel's actions in northern Gaza. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati and a delegation from the Arab-Brazilian Chamber of Commerce have discussed promoting economic and trade relations with Brazil. The Minister of Foreign Affairs reviewed the bilateral relations between Egypt and Brazil, especially following the visit of Brazilian President Lula da Silva to Egypt in February 2024, during which it was agreed to upgrade relations to a strategic partnership. The ministry also shared the aspirations to strengthen economic and trade relations between Egypt and Brazil, which is Egypt's first trading partner in Latin America, as well as the importance of increasing the volume of trade exchange. Egypt has condemned the Israeli Knesset's approval of legislation banning the work of UNRWA. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry has expressed deep concern about the international system's failure to uphold the humanitarian principles compromised by Israeli action and widespread inaction. It urged the Security Council to fulfill its crucial role in maintaining international peace and security and underscored the irreplaceable function of UNRWA. Egypt has called on the international community to confront Israel's systemic violations and firmly rejects any practices aimed at displacing Palestinians and undermining their right of return. The Egyptian ambassador in Ramallah, Ihab Suleiman, has met the Palestinian Minister of Local Government, Sami Hijawi, to discuss arrangements for the participation of the Palestinian delegation in the upcoming World Urban Forum, which will be hosted November 4th to the 8th. They emphasized the significance of active Palestinian participation in addressing urban planning challenges following the ongoing conflict in Gaza and its destruction. While Ambassador Suleiman reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to supporting the Palestinian people until they achieve an independent Palestinian state within the borders of June 1967 and until all relevant international resolutions are implemented. Housing and Urban Communities Minister Sharif al-Shirbini has announced the agenda for the 12th World Urban Forum set to take place in Cairo from November 4th to the 8th with global participation. The forum will discuss sustainable housing, urban development and technological transformations centered on human welfare. Al-Shirbini highlighted that Egypt was chosen to host the event due to its rich architectural diversity and adaptive urban solutions, underscoring the country's contributions to sustainable urban development over the past decade. Minister of Education and Technical Education, Mohammed Abdul Latif, has received the Governor of the New Valley, General Mohammed Al-Zamlout, to discuss ways to enhance collaborative efforts for developing the educational process in the governorate. They emphasized the importance of collaborating with relevant stakeholders to support the state's educational development vision. The meeting highlighted key initiatives for the 2024-2025 academic year, including the establishment of a new school for gifted STEM students in the New Valley, with land already allocated. Additionally, the officials addressed the need for technological advancements in educational institutions and discussed expanding Japanese schools to accommodate the growing student population. The Minister of Education and Technical Education has launched a campaign titled School is a Place for All in collaboration with the British Council and UNICEF. The campaign aims to raise awareness around the importance of including students with special needs and disabilities in Egypt, inclusive schools. This aligns with the ministry's vision for comprehensive education and Egypt's Vision 2030, which aims to ensure fair access to quality education, promote inclusive practices, and encourage positive attitudes towards diverse learning needs. The Information and Decision Support Center under Egypt's cabinet has released a report highlighting Egypt's substantial progress across various global indices from 2014 to 2024. The report showcased Egypt's success in the Global Retail Development Index, a benchmark guiding investments in emerging retail markets. This index highlights countries with promising long-term investment potential. The Egyptian Senate, led by Speaker Abdelwahab Abdelrazak, recently convened to discuss the challenges facing local farmers. The Senate's Agricultural Committee has highlighted the importance of expanding arable land as a critical solution to the economic and environmental challenges facing developing nations. The committee further emphasized that increasing agricultural land is vital to improving food security and boosting local production, especially in Egypt. Japanese Otsuka Pharmaceutical will build the first factory in the Middle East to produce health supplements in the 10th of Ramadan city with an investment totaling 1 billion Egyptian pounds. The Minister of Investment and External Trade, Hassan Al-Khatib, and representatives of the Japanese giant laid the foundation stone for the new project. Production in the new factory, built by Arab Otsuka Nutraceuticals, a subsidiary of the Japanese Otsuka Group, is set to start in the second quarter of 2025, according to the Egyptian cabinet. An African report has highlighted the top 10 countries in the continent with the most improved infrastructure this year, featuring the 5 Arab nations: Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya. The Business Africa report highlights that African governments, private investors, and international financial institutions are forming strategic partnerships to tackle the continent's infrastructure financing gap. Egypt is significantly investing in resilient infrastructure through government and private sector projects to unlock economic potential, enhance competitiveness, create jobs, promote inclusive partnerships, rather entrepreneurships, and facilitate trade for improved reconstruction. About 73,000 tons of goods were handled at the different Red Sea harbors, according to the Red Sea Ports Authority, RSPA. In a statement, the RSPA said imports included 8,500 tons of goods, 357 trucks, and 59 cars. It added that the exports included 64,500 tons of goods, 539 trucks, and 31 cars. Egyptian and African champions Al Ahly will commence their campaign in the maiden FIFA Intercontinental Cup against their Asian counterparts Al Ain FC from the United Arab Emirates at Cairo International Stadium. Marking the first official encounter between the two clubs, Al Ahly and Al Ain FC will face off for the title of the African Asian Pacific Cup. Buoyed by the recent Egyptian Super Cup triumph over arch rivals Zamalek, Al Ahly enters the match against Al Ain with high morale. The Meteorological Authority forecasts likely cool weather at night and in the early morning on Wednesday. Warm conditions are expected during the day in northern Egypt, with hot temperatures in South Sinai and the south. The Weather Forecasting and Early Warning Department noted morning fog on some agricultural and main roads near water bodies leading to and from Greater Cairo, the Delta, northern coasts, Canal Cities, Central Sinai, and northern Upper Egypt. Light rain is also anticipated in the Halayb and Shalatin. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here's what we've been covering. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof discuss regional and international issues with a focus on the Middle East. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli participates in a Future Investment Initiative conference in Riyadh on behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. And Egypt condemns the Israeli Knesset's approval of legislation banning the operations of UNRWA. That brings us to the end of our bulletin. Remember to stay updated by following Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok at QNewsEG for the latest developments.